on our Phantom Lancer. Other side, setting up to keep an eye on this top room. You got Cheshire Cat on the Clockwork, going to be Sunlight. Playing on the Storm Spirit this time, Dirty Ra's going to be on our Gyrocopter, King R. Playing on the Abaddon and bringing up the rear, that's J4. Once again on the 5 position, playing our Shadow Demon. This is game 2 of a best of 2 PR and 4 anchors. Unless something has changed, it has been 1-1s across the board in this group, and it's going to be 4 anchors' chance to change that and give themselves a decent lead as we continue play here at the TI5 qualifiers, EU Hub coverage. So, Bounty Rune's picked up by Lesh and Storm Spirit, and we're underway. Lanes, we'll see if they're going to swap them up, but first impressions based on how the lanes look so far.
So I'm really interested to see what 4ASC are doing down on this bottom lane. Looks like they are once again going to successfully force the Viper into a really good one-on-one matchup. This is one of the big weaknesses of Clockwork as a hero, that a lot of your offlane heroes, well, at least some of your offlane heroes, double as very good, or at least reasonable 1v1, but the Clockwork is definitely not one of those. And Trixie's just being a little bit cautious right now because I don't think he sees any of the PR supports.
He saw J4 walk his way up, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get disrupted into a rocket barrage or something if the Gyrocopter is also hiding. So he's playing it nice and safe, giving the Clockwork a little bit of farm. And it looks like 4ASC are just going to break it down into dual lanes here. So Boogie's going to come up top lane, looks to start running some pulls and whatnot. And Top Man's just going to grab some farm. The old school combo, Keeper of the Light plus Phantom Lancer, making its way down to bottom.
We used to refer to a specific illness. That I think that was one of the first times that you heard cancer used quite a lot, was this combo. So anyway, should be kind of quiet, I think. I mean, barring any major missteps, probably mid lane is going to be where we want to watch, as Nymphy already harassed down the half health, and Sunlight off to a great start in the face of this Lesh. 7-1.
He's kicking ass. He really is.
So Lesh, I mean, if you're Nymphy, you have Lightning Storm to rely on for last hit.
Cat in some trouble top lane, lifted back.
And he's going to drop the cogs. Not a lot of damage, but, oh, the slow from Trixie. No, we actually couldn't get around him. And Boogie giving pursuit. There's going to be some help coming from J4. Now they're going to turn it around. This is, yeah, they know the Viper's back in lane farming. Cheshire Cat thinks better of it and decides he's going to go ahead and head back into the river while Boogie gives him a pat on the back or two on his way back. And that's going to be a very fortuitous regen rune. That's frustrating as hell.
Yeah, and 4ASC see the whole thing. Oh, Boogie.
Oh, clipped him. He does have a TP, though, so not going to be all that disruptive. He actually decides to go bottom with it, too.
Okay, so giving up on top lane for the time being, going to try and put a little bit more pressure on this Phantom Lancer if they can, since he's getting good farm, and the Abaddon can't really do a heck of a lot to help out the Gyrocopter at the moment. Looks like they do still have quite a bit of regen in this tri-lane to deal with the Spirit Lance spam, but it is just going to continue to mount as more and more levels stack up on Matumba Man and Valix. And Valix doing a really good job of staying defensively positioned here. They do have this Observer Ward that they use to block out the pull camp, and I think that gave them a bit of scouting information in terms of the fact that J4 was now all the way down bottom, and that he might be looking to get a jump here. So I'm just going to play it safe. They know that they've got all 3 heroes down here, and that means they're going to feel pretty confident with how these 1v1s are going. Nymphy's, despite that amazing start from Sunlight, is now catching up quite a bit on the mid lane, and top lane, as expected, is an extremely Viper-favored matchup right now.
I'm actually really surprised that the Lesh is caught up. I mean, not just caught up, but I mean, you're talking dead even now outside of a couple denies. So Nymphy playing quite well from behind. And at bottom lane, 4 anchors has got great usage out of this ward. It's kept them safe. Like you said, the positioning has been spot on. At top, our Clockwork not doing well. And this is, as you mentioned, isolating Trixie's Viper into such an advantageous one-on-one. This is going to hurt them. I mean, I feel like they're really going to be relying on Clockwork to make things happen in the mid-game. And with him this abysmally under-farmed, if nothing changes, they're going to have a hard time playing that style that we know and love out of them, which is aggression.
Yeah, and they're even going to start breaking up this bottom lane a little bit. J4 making his way out. Solo smoke for him. Has these boots first. I think this Shadow Demon is part of the reason that we saw the Lesh fall behind quite a bit on CS against the Storm Spirit early. Trix made the exact same play, which was just to, okay, I don't see the Shadow Demon yet. I'm going to stick by my tower and not give him this easy gank opportunity, but J4 makes his way all the way top, and they're going to try to find this kill.
All the way top, we can hear the cogs are down. Trixie in some trouble, and they got him. Cheshire Cat with the help of J4, and you know, Clockwork, farm or not, you have to be so careful. If you get caught in cogs, especially with a couple of points in a battery assault, you are going to be made to pay. And it certainly worked out that time. So first blood goes to PR. That's the start they want, and certainly the catch-up they needed for Cheshire Cat on the clock.
Yeah, and that's definitely the leg up that he needs into this game. He's already level 5. He's maxing out the battery assault, so he's...
Dirty Raw's in trouble. Got lifted, hit with the Illuminate. Can they catch him? Nope. Oh, he didn't have enough mana for another Spirit Lance. I thought maybe they could throw it, but King R was there, put on the Aphotic Shield, and everything worked out just fine. But they are doing a great job of pressuring this Gyro, and he is beginning to suffer quite a bit in farm. He's almost 10 CS down now. He's actually about 8 down, but it's getting worse and worse and worse as time goes on.
And they're out of regen now as well.
Yeah. I mean, this is just the keeper of the light effect. I mean, he's able to keep everyone spammy, able to allow, you know, things like Spirit Lance to just be thrown over and over and over again. But he's also able to keep you pinned and really keep you guessing. I mean, whenever he's this well positioned, you don't have vision behind the trees, and he could just throw Illuminates with impunity. It is so hard to reliably stay in lane and farm at all without, like right there, King R, hiding as far back as he could, still got caught.
Yeah, and it needs to ferry some regen out if they can. J4 still trying to make some plays out on the map. He's over towards the mid lane, but it looks like he may have been spotted by this dire ward up on the cliff, in fact. So, looks like Nymphy not going to get caught. Just playing it nice and safe back towards the tower. And yeah, he's gonna be like, yeah, whatever, Shadow Demon, you can have top rune. I'm gonna go team up with my supports, and I'm gonna go take bot.
Yep, not gonna be contested. And he actually backed
Storm's making his way down. Saved his haste rune to try and go for it. Zips in.
Who got it? He got it. Storm manages a snag at Nymphy. Has his supports behind him. He's eating a lot of damage in the meantime. There's the ult. He's skilled early by Nymphy right at level 6. Telekinesis there. Beautifully shot the Split Earth, and they bring him down. Had help from the Illuminate, but not even necessary. That's actually kind of gigantic. Being able to kill the Storm off after level 6 at this early stage of the game.
Yeah, and Storm was the one person who was doing well for Power Rangers thus far. Sort of has his head up there in terms of the overall CS battle. So that really does not bode well at all for Power Rangers, and just kind of dangerous for the Storm Spirit there. He came in, yeah, he snagged the rune, but didn't have any vision in the area, had no handle whatsoever on what the supports from 4AC were up to, and I feel like going for that kill is a decent play, but it is definitely a gamble.
Nymphy wound up for the splitter. Didn't need it. Sunlight got eyes on Boogie, but really
bottom lane.
Thought he will do a lot. Yeah, down at bottom lane. Matumba Man. Oh, they got him. Really well played by Matumba Man there, using the doppelganger to avoid some of that damage. There's a nice hook though as Cheshire Cat gets paid back for 1. Can he get 2? Matumba Man throws out the Spirit Lance, trying to buy himself some time. And the wind up, the cast point on Battery Assault might allow him to get away. Boogie's there if he needs to use the lift, and he will. And yeah, I mean, little things. Like, you know, whenever you see patch notes that talk about cast points, and not to say that one was necessarily changed, but just the time it took to cast Battery Assault was enough to allow them to create enough distance and for help to get there in time. So it ends up being 2 for 2, all said and done.
Yep. I mean, does end up grabbing the kill on the Keeper of the Light, so Cheshire Cat continuing his momentum forward into this game, but gonna have to wait around a little bit before he has another hook shot at the ready. PR are doing better at this stage, especially on the ward game, than I think they were in the previous. They've set up a nice safe lane ward just to keep the farm up on the gyrocopter, and keeping eyes over on mid lane as well from any further potential ganks from the Rubik. So they're getting some farm going at the moment. Still need to catch this gyrocopter up a lot. He's down about half compared to all of the other lead farmers in the game right now, and that's where this lane ward is going to be very helpful.
Well, Cheshire Cat picked up a double damage rune. He popped it, and he's really, it looked like he wanted to head to mid lane. Now he's heading elsewhere, and this is going to end up being a bit of a wasted rune. He's really just kind of hanging out right now and anticipating, I think, someone was on his tail looking for him. Thought maybe he'd try to get a gank done with the rune, but not going to be the case. Instead, gank coming to mid. Boogie's there. Can they catch Sunlight? Nope. Able to ball lightning away. There's a TP coming in. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Split Earth, well timed. And J4 unable to do much. And there's going to be that hook as they catch Nymphy. Cheshire Cat eating a lot of the damage, though. Who's going to win? Nymphy doing tons of damage with that magic. And the ultimate, Pulse Nova, again taken early, and no problem. And Sunlight actually caught with an Illuminate from the low ground, but not enough to bring him down. Oh, they do manage to get Abaddon to commit suicide, though. I actually thought somebody else had snagged that somehow, but instead, PR once again giving up ground. I felt like it was a good reaction, but maybe just a bit of an overextension.
Yeah, and they And they sent in some TPs there as well, so even more of an investment. Oh, Digirov farming very low, was making it, just trying to clear up a camp before heading back to base, but
got him.
Boogie randomly finds him in the jungle, and that's going to be a solo kill for the Rubik. You see carry players do this from time to time. They think, okay, look, I've gotten a little bit low. I'm just going to use all of my mana, a couple of cooldowns, and the last little bit of my health to clear one more jungle camp and just be as efficient as I can. But Boogie, this guy's a wanderer, and this time around he's going to find something very nice for himself.
So active.
Yeah, he just runs around everywhere. He just does whatever he feels like.
Yep, he's making it work for him.
Jump in mid lane. Trixie in some trouble.
Yep, Trixie caught. Cheshire Cat drops the cogs. Trixie going to end up dying for the second time this game. He's 0-2. So not the start he would want. Farm's not bad, though. And the rest of his team doing quite a good job of picking up the weight. They're going to maybe take a run at mid here, try to find something, make something happen. They do have, of course, Storm Spirit there to try to jump on any stragglers. Cheshire Cat does have a fresh hook up and ready if he's able to spot someone. In the meantime, PL takes the tier 1 down at bottom, so this kind of standoff is not working in their favor. PL's getting tons of farm. He's being left completely alone, and they've got to relieve themselves or get off the pod. As, yeah, looks like, oh, they might actually catch Cheshire Cat now. Never mind.
No, he's just going to cruise over to the side and looks like he's going to be okay. But, you know, like you said, Matumba Man picking up a tower down bottom, and 4ASC building up a pretty hefty lead here. Net worth is about 4K in their advantage right now, and about 1K the experience difference. And you look over at 4ASC, and everyone is just stacking jungle at the moment. There's a triple stack over here that looks like Valix is going to be clearing out. They've also handed a stack over to Nemphy to grab some nice farm. So that lead that we were just talking about is actually only getting bigger for 4ASC as we move forward.
PR knows it, and they want to try to find someone. They're going to take a run at Matumba Man, 3-man smoke. It's the right 3 as well. Shadow Demon, they throw down a Sentry Ward. And there we go, they're going to jump, and they spot him out. Doppelganger buys him some time, going to try to jump on him, and they manage to grab the right one. That's a kill they very desperately needed, as the PL was really beginning to build up a head of steam, and instead ends up dropping. But 4ASC also pressuring the tier 1 in mid, and it is in deny range if they want to take a run at that. Yep, that's exactly what he's going to try to do. They got to be careful because they've got a creep wave coming up right now. Yep, got it. That's just unfortunate timing. So Lesh able to bring the tower down on his own. He's already got up his point booster and 1,200 gold aside on the way to a Bloodstone. And things are looking good for the 4 anchors.
Yeah, definitely. The Storm Spirit is doing his best to leverage the little bit of early farm that he got to start catching the game back up, while the Gyrocopter is just off hitting creeps and looking to get back into the game that way. Tichira, I mean, this is a pretty sad Gyrocopter inventory at the moment. He's got some power treads and a magic wand, and that's about the extent of it right now. But Matumba Man getting lined up on once again bottom lane, the Storm Spirit not giving him any breathing room.
Yep, they've got to continue to run with this PL. They know he's a liability. There's the Doppelganger, buys himself a little bit of time. They ping the right one, and Sunlight trying to chase him down, helps on the way. There's going to be the call down. Catches a couple behind that, though. The damage is intense. Illuminate caught a couple. And 4 anchors slowed down enough to maybe allow PR to retreat. And yeah, looks like they should be able to make it away no problem. And 4 anchors should be a little careful in this. They don't want to overextend themselves too much, as Storm is always a threat, especially with the Soul Ring. But, you know...
no, 4SC found the stacks.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. And just coming back to what you're saying about the gyro, we were talking about how lopsided that top lane matchup was between Clock and Viper. And this poor gyro is less farmed than that Clockwork was, as lopsided as that early matchup was.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat's found some opportunities, kind of gotten things done. The Gyrocopter still just wants to sit and hit some creeps.
Hook came up short. He went for it on Nemphy, had some help, but unable to connect.
That's a real shame, especially since he's got his Blade Mail up at a pretty decent timing. This is a really big opportunity for Cheshire Cat to continue to put pressure on the Lesh. So it seems like, for the most part, Power Rangers' plan is sort of Storm Spirit keeps eyes and tabs on the Phantom Lancer. The Clockwork from this point forward should be able to sort of keep the Leshrac pressured. I don't know what they can necessarily do about the Viper for the time being, and it looks like Trixie is going to be going back for this kind of Midas build here, so settling in for the long haul, but hopefully Gyrocopter is going to be able to find some farm as well.
Well, PR, honestly, the lead's not tremendous for 4 anchors. I mean, we are just 15 minutes in, and it's about 20, maybe 3,000 gold or excuse me, 3,000 experience, and the gold sitting actually a little higher than I thought it was, coming up to 7,500. But they have done a decent job of slowing the PL down. The challenge, I think, is just getting their gyro farm back up. If they can get the gyro farm back up, though, they certainly do have enough damage in the end, a ton of ways to pick heroes off, but it's just so much easier said than done. 4 Anchors has eyes on Cheshire Cat. There's going to be the Photic Shield thrown out. Blade Mail shown off, and yeah, they decide they don't even want to engage into it. Illuminate's going to catch Cheshire and the Abaddon on the high ground. Behind that, though, yep, never mind. Storm Spirit heard him jump, thought he was going to try to be aggressive. Not the case.
Yeah, they saw the heals coming in from the Abaddon and just thought, okay, look, we don't want to pump too much damage into this Clockwork's Blade Mail while he's constantly getting topped off. So, a nice safe play there from 4AC. Did try and make the best play that they possibly could out of that opportunistic Invis rune, but Power Ranger's not going to fall prey to it here.
4 to 5, and you know, PR I feel like is once again adjusting fairly well. Game 1, it was a little bit too little too late for them, but they are finally getting some room for their gyro. The unfortunate truth, though, is that it's coming at the cost of room for the Phantom Lancer, who has crawled his way up to second place in net worth, only to their own Leshrac. So being in second place, not so bad. Their Medallion of Courage picked up on the Shadow Demon, so PR definitely wants to try to make something happen sooner rather than later, make life a little easier if they decide to try to sneak a Roshan. And Trixie, once again, quietly picking up a Midas, I think. He's got his Aquila, as well as Shreds, and Glove of Haste, and very, very close to being able to complete a Midas. 2-man smoke coming out of 4 Anchors now.
Yeah, very little incentive to go for a Maelstrom here, so probably just going to be seeing the Midas build. Storm Spirit lifted.
Yep, there's the follow-up. There's the damage there. It is. There you go, 4 Anchors. I mean, it is so... Like, pickoffs like that matter so much, not just because, I mean, yes, it's one of the cores, and yes, it's one of the higher farmed cores on the other side, but that's a core that should not get picked off. You know, whenever you talk about targets you want to engage and spin smokes trying to grab, it's such a high-risk, high-reward kind of a decision to engage a storm like that and spend your abilities and your mana. But if you can do it and make it work, it is just such a tremendous boon.
Yeah, we talked about it during the draft. The only thing that kills Storm Spirit here is getting lifted into a Split Earth, and I think 4AC, even just realizing that, they're like, okay, let's just send the 2 heroes out onto the map with the Smoke Gank that can realistically kill anyone that we find on Power Rangers. There's no risk of, oh, okay, with 2/3 of the heroes that we run into, we just can't do anything about. And I like the way that the Leshrac is playing as well. Nephi's moving around quite a bit. The Phantom Lancer has a 100% I'm going to hit creeps and farm the jungle build with his Morbid Mask and his Yasha up, so Matumba Man is continuing to scale and scale and scale, and the Viper with his Midas is also just farming away right now. So,
well, PR's got to get something going. With a Leshrac, you've got 2 of the best flash farmers in the game, in Phantom Lancer and Leshrac on the other side, and they're not going to be too far away from doubling up the farm of your highest core, which is your Storm Spirit. They're already very nearly doubling up the farm of the Gyrocopter, which is probably the most farm-dependent hero you have on your entire squad. And, you know, I love this out of 4 Anchors. They've once again smoked, and they could just sit back and play and be like, yeah, we got the farm advantage. We know we're ahead. The kill score, even though it seems close, this game's actually beginning to separate at a much higher pace. Instead, they want to keep the pressure up. And oh, Dirty Rob, he gets found. Splitter was thrown. They got him. They spotted him. Pings is going to be the call down. A lot of damage, but doesn't matter. Trixie's there to make sure things go their way, and Boogie survives by the skin of his teeth, and he'll TP away to safety. And, yeah, that's not what they can afford to have happen anymore.
That was pre-nerf Rocket Barrage. He dies 100%.
Yep.
But actually, I don't know if they nerfed it at level 4, but anyway, that was pretty tough for the Rubik. They're looking for the skill here on Valix mid, but he's just running circles around the creep wave. TP's coming in.
Up Trixie, disrupted. Cogs go down in the meantime for Cheshire Cat. Bit of a fire drill now as everyone's separated out. They are going to be able to get Trixie, it would seem. And King Ard trying to keep everyone alive. In the meantime, Sunlight goes to the high ground. Well shot with the Split Earth. That's a 2-for-1. And Matumba Man just going to work. Unfortunately, no stun to knock him out of the TP. And Sunlight, though, spotted again. So it's going to be a 3-for-1. All told, I counted the gyro kill anyway, so a 2-for-1 exchange in mid. And I guarantee you 4 Anchors will always take a Storm Spirit kill versus a Viper in this matchup. Given their compositions, they will happily trade that.
Yeah, that was a very acceptable trade for AC overall. The Keeper of the Light even ends up living, and he's got some fantastic progress towards his Aghanim Scepter at the moment, so that's going to be coming out before too long. And Power Rangers just not really finding all that many successful pickoffs between the Storm Spirit and the Clocker, which they are definitely looking for. Cheshire Cat, Blade Mail top lane.
Not going to matter. Damage it. Oh, he actually got bounced. Got a little too close to the cogs. Can he get close enough? Yeah, he's got him. So Nymphy, despite walking a little too close to the electric square, the electric dance floor there, is able to track down the kill. And this is just another command performance coming out of Four Anchors. And I'm a bit more familiar with PR than I am Four Anchors, but I am so impressed. I mean, our Leshrac, Nymphy, as well as Rubik, played by Boogie, and then the Phantom Lancer together, played by Matuba. And they are a collective 8-1. Like, that's how well they've played this early game.
Yeah, and I think Boogie deserves an honorable mention up there as well. He's 2-0-3, he found the solo kill on the Gyrocopter. He's run around like a lunatic everywhere, but I mean, the ward vision, I think, also speaks for itself. This ward mid, right next to the tier 2 tower, that's Boogie. The ward up on the high ground there that spotted out the Storm Spirit earlier, that's him as well, and all of these placements have been fantastic. Power Rangers just sitting behind their Gyrocopter at the moment, trying to let DTR get a bit of farm going. Encroaching into their territory. Matumba Man's farming the Radiant jungle. We've got Kor's farming up the Dire jungle as well. Storm Spirit trying to grab a little bit here and there where he can. But still no Bloodstone just yet, and does really want to get the farm going with that item.
I'll tell you what's terrifying is Diffusal Blade is very nearly done now. He's got Sanjin Yasha already completed. Matumba Man I'm referring to, I should say. Hang on, engagement in middle. Nymphy caught out, blown up. And they got to get away if they can. Never mind, TPs were canceled. So PR getting a little something working. Bloodstone was expended there. But
he's back.
Yep, very quickly. And ready to rock. But, I mean, that's a good kill for them.
That was 1,500 gold and 1,800 experience off just that singular kill. So, well, worth it.
But yeah, with the Diffusal getting ready to come out, though, that's where things get really scary for heroes like the Storm Spirit in particular, for Gyrocopter as well. I mean, the ability to just, I mean, between that and the Viper, you're just going to be able to, BKB or not, Lord knows he's nowhere near it. Even if he does get one, you're just going to be able to stay on top of him. You're going to be able to burn everything he's got. And the Storm Spirit, basically, if you get caught at all, if you jump into a stray split earth, if you're lifted, you're not going to have any mana to do anything in these fights if the PL has illusions in range. Like, you're just not going to be able to stay and sustain at all in drawn-out team fights, which is, with the Coddle, something that Four Anchors is going to be able to do very well. PR, trying to make something work. They've got 4 smoked. They've got 1 in mid. The 1 in mid was spotted by a ward. Let's see if they can find themselves another kill. There's 2 good targets in mid, Valix and Nymphy. J4 leading the way. They're going to head through the jungle. And there is a target to the north. That's going to be Trixie sitting at half health. Nope, they're going to double back. Here we go, jumping on the Nymphy. They got him. Call down is there as well. Nymphy trying to make it away and cannot. Cheshire Cat even sealing the deal with the hook in. They managed to bring down Boogie as well, just to the north of that tier 1. And PR, you know, being able to kill off Nymphy this many times, look at the gold change from that one exchange. You're talking nearly a 2,500 gold change and nearly a 3,000 XP change. So this is what we knew they needed to do, and they're doing it quite well. Yeah. But it's going to continue, looks like, yeah. Are they going to re-engage? Matumba Man right behind him. Yep, Storm able to make it away. Very low mana, though. And yeah, I was thinking they were going to disengage, and they will.
Everyone's a little bit low. Matumba Man is still just making sure that Sunlight goes all the way back to base, doesn't stop for any creep camps along the way. And Matumba Man has his eyes on those creep camps himself as he makes his way down into the Radiant jungle. But good couple of back-to-back ganks for Power Rangers. Going to start to swing that golden experience back, though. They were at a pretty hefty deficit before.
Wow.
PL just runs right into Gyrocopter and solo kills him. Oh, no.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. I mean, poor Gyro, man. He's got a Yasha. He's picked up a Mithril Hammer. But, I mean, he's just so underfarmed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's finally above his Clockwork by a decent margin. He's sitting right where Trixie is. And, you know, Trixie has kind of been an unsung hero here. I mean, he's won 3-2, hasn't been that impactful, but he's done his job. He's in the right place where he needs to be. He's just farming up, tanking up, putting his Midas to work, making sure he's a force in the late game. Hang on, Boogie caught again in the side of the former Tier 1. And Alex going to get eyes on Cheshire Cat, unable to stop him, though. Another TP away from Sunlight. And Nymphy unable to stop him there. Worth mentioning with those back-to-back ganks on Nymphy is Bloodstone is down to 5 charges, so certainly not where you want to be after freshly purchasing one.
Yeah, they have done a really good job of slowing down the Shrek. He's picked up this Force Staff, which is, I think, almost the greediest item that you can go for against the Clockwork and the way that they're playing around that. I'm somewhat surprised that he didn't end up just going for a BKB. I mean, yes, the Force Staff isn't going to get weaker as the game goes on, like the BKB charges are going to wear down, but there's still call-down to worry about. There's still the Storm Spirit initiation as well. That seems to be a bit of a problem for them.
Roche fight on the way. Cheshire Cat just going to walk right in under Glimmer. Yep. Drops the cogs. They're going to jump right in. Beautifully played. They've got a ton of damage. And it looks like, oh, it was snatched. The Aegis was snatched up. Dirty Rod very low as the battle continues to rage outside of it. Abaddon keeps him alive a little bit longer. Aegis is going to be popped. That's going to be Storm coming back with it. They do track down the Gyrocopter. Borrow time triggered on King R. There's Cheshire Cat coming in on Boogie. And now 4 anchors, who seemed like they had the pace of the game under control in the first 20, beginning to suffer a little bit. Good plays from PR, putting good use of that Glimmer. And wow, King R is actually going to make it away. It looks like he will. They do manage to track down Cheshire Cat, but all in all, despite it being a 3-2, I'm gonna say that PR is going to be quite happy with that outcome. They snatched the Aegis. It's consumed in the process. But that looked like it was going to be an easy Roshan, and instead 4 anchors comes out on the losing end.
Yeah, ends up being a pretty much even golden experience change after that fight, and well, given the position that PR are in, I think they're going to be pretty happy with that. And like you said, also prevented the Aegis from finding its way into the hands of 4ASC. So Power Rangers still have all their tier 2s up. They're starting to get a bit of farm going on the Gyrocopter, but he still needs a little while to go until he's going to be able to pick up his BKB. Though not having to deal with the Aegis is definitely, it's a relief for Power Rangers.
There's a stack on the Ancients here. Looks like they are going to want to stack it probably one more time before really going to work on it. And Sunlight with a Bloodstone of his own at 11 charges. Compare that to Leshrax, who now, he's sitting at 4 and 3 after having a really great start. Instead, he's only got 4 Bloodstone charges left. S and Y done on the Viper, though, so item progression continuing there. The only issue I have right now is PR is playing well, but if you take a look at the charts, they're not really making any dents. They're not like, they're making plays and they're keeping themselves in, and they're actually killing off really good heroes. It's not just they're getting kills, but they're getting kills on valuable heroes. And, you know, again, that's what they need to do. But in terms of trying to translate that into some kind of a catch-up, it just hasn't really worked out that way. How do they take that next step?
They need to just continue to try and find pickoffs. I think that's what their lineup is really kind of geared towards at the moment. Unfortunately, the Abaddon is already starting to look a little bit questionable. He has managed to pick up a Glimmer Cape, and he's grabbed a gem for the team as well. So I think PR just realizing how important it is to maintain vision at this stage and continuing to feel confident farming over in their own jungle. But like you said, they're still just getting out farmed, and they need to... The only thing that they can really do about that is try and pick off the 4 ASC heroes. But that's going to get more difficult as we've got the Aghanim Scepter and the gem over on the Keeper of the Light. So Valix is just running all around the map right now, dewarding Power Rangers and making life very difficult for them.
PR is taking a very aggressive posture here, spending a lot of time in the dire jungle just trying to find something or anything, but 4 Anchors is playing a pretty tight game. They did give, there was a period there for a few minutes where Nymphy died multiple times, and it looked like they really weren't reading the map correctly, but now they are beginning to stabilize. BKB is up on Gyro, and that's certainly going to be helpful. Here's going to be a jump. He jumps into 2. They go right on the Nymphy behind that. Heard the Clockwork throw out the hook. There's going to be the lift on the Sunlight. Not a lot of mana for him. He will be able to jump down on the low ground. Nobody dead yet. Cheshire Cat in some trouble. Drops the Cogs, but Splitter doesn't care about Cogs. He's going to try to TP away in their face, and unable to do so. Damage output just a little too high. So the aggressiveness out of PR, jumping a little blind into that situation, underestimating what the reprisal was going to be. And 4 Anchors gets a pretty important kill. That's 40 seconds he's going to be down. And thought maybe they're going to try to do something in mid lane, but instead just going to fall back and reset. Go ahead and farm some more.
Yeah, why not? This is, again, what we talked about during the draft, that 4 ASC have drafted themselves in a position where there isn't really any kind of time pressure on them. The Phantom Lancer is just getting scarier and scarier. Matamba Man looks like he's actually going to be picking up a Butterfly before too long. The Leshrac also farming nicely. Oh, Ditira in some trouble.
Gone. Okay.
Not enough mana left to burn. So runs out of damage and we'll be able to TP out.
Yeah, King R should make it away, and there's a good TP away near the camp as well, so everyone makes it away. Not going to be so lucky for Sunlight as he is once again picked off. They are doing such a good job of making him pay with that combo. He's 3 and 4 now, and that's actually a big hit to his Bloodstone as well. He's down to 7 charges now. Leshrac up to 6 on his own. And I'm really surprised at how well they're comboing. I mean, it's not the hardest thing in the world to execute, but you would think there would be a couple of missteps here and there. For the most part, there haven't been. They are just really playing tight Dota. Yeah,
they've been really on point. I think that was a bit questionable from Sunlight going in, looking for the solo kill on the Lesh. He may not have seen that the Ogre Club is picked up, and that did add a little bit of extra survivability, but it's even tough. Once the Lesh gets outside of the Electric Vortex, he can very quickly force staff, and you know that's always going to be heading him over towards his team. The map has also suddenly become very dark, as we were talking about as well, with the gem pickup over on this Keeper of the Light. That looks like that's actually being carried. Is that on the Courier at the moment, or they just stashed it? Yeah, okay, so he's done one complete sweep of the map and feels pretty safe that they're not being spotted, so just going to keep it nice and safe on the Courier. But at the same time, I'm criticizing PR and I'm criticizing Sunlight for going for that kind of play, but those are the kind of plays that they need to look for. They need to look for these solo pickoffs. I don't feel like 5-on-5s are going to go their way right now, so you have to keep that in mind as well.
Matumba Man right next to them. They're going to spawn him. Trixie's there. They've got a whole team to run into. They're going to go for it. Cheshire Cat moving in. Cogs in. Nymphie. Nymphie still able to do damage. It's Blade Meld returning that damage, though. Using that hook. Can they bring down Nymphie? They do. BKBs are up. And we're seeing Boogie actually stole Ball Lightning jumping right next to him. And Sunlight may be in some trouble. Nope, never mind. They're a little too spread out. That's a 1-for-1. And make that a double kill. That is make it a triple kill. As Matumba Man able to get the job done. And Cheshire Cat gone. What looked like it might be a somewhat even trade becomes an absolute disaster as the ultra kill is tallied by Matumba Man, and that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. I mean, the Phantom Lancer leading up to that was just short of a butterfly. He's going to have it now. As yep, he just bought the Eagle Song. It's being flown to him by the Courier now. And yeah, 20-12, PR holding out as long as they could, but that's going to be a 20,000 experience lead, 20,000 gold lead, and probably just a bum's rush straight uphill at this tier 3 bottom.
And Power Rangers played that in such an interesting way. They popped the double Glimmer Cape to get the Storm Spirit and the Clockwork past the front line of 4AFC and into the back lines to be able to focus down Nymphie, but well, there was the Force Staff available, and as we saw, Matumba Man is just ridiculously, yeah, he's monstrous at this stage. I don't even know how to phrase it. He's beyond comprehension.
Oh, J4 coming in. There's going to be Cheshire Cat. Gets Trixie. BKB's up once again. Matumba Man still right at the outside of it. He doesn't have a ton of mana. He will be grabbed back by Sunlight. These long duration BKBs are keeping PR alive. Matumba Man does end up dying. It's a lot of gold that's going to go their way. Trixie's still there just doing his job. Buyback from the PL in the meantime. Keep in mind, PR is lacking buybacks for the most part. And J4 picked off. There's two spent. And yeah, there's none on Sunlight. He's down, or he's down for good if he does go down. So they buy back, but I don't know how they even engage here. Oh wow, the gyro way out front. He's going to be blown up. Sunlight comes in, not able to do much, but dance around. King R gonna end up dying behind the fight. Cheshire Cat drops the cogs. He's gonna be killed by illusions right at his own doorstep. 27-13, and it looks like, once again, 4ASC about ready to tally a win. And if they can make it 2-0, I don't know what's happened elsewhere, but when we first began the series, there was only 1-1. So this is actually a big old whitewash for 4ASC, improving their chances here in the quali.
Yeah, and always, especially in a group with all of these ties, the 2-0 means so much, because not only is it putting your head itself out in front of the pack, it's also the fact that the 2-0 is worth 3 points compared to a single victory only being worth the 1. And you know, of course, the reason for that is that it helps to prevent any kind of tiebreakers from happening, but 4AFC definitely going to have to be happy if they do end up walking away with this game. And with the way things are looking right now, That feels relatively certain. They're going to go in and still be able to clean up Roshan before the Gyrocopter even respawns. They made great use of the Keeper of the Light there in that last fight. Matumba Man went down. I feel like PR played it as well as they could. They used the cogs to split the fight 4-1 and focus down the Phantom Lancer. Then Matumba Man looked at all of his net worth, hit buyback, and they recalled him right into the fight, and it was like he never left. So at this point, Power Rangers, they think they're going to try and perhaps take a fight outside of the base, try and jump for ASC when they're not necessarily expecting it, but there's a fresh BKB over on the Lesh, so he's very difficult to focus, and Matumba Man with the Aegis is also very difficult to bring down, so I don't know what they can do.
Out damaging the door protector here on the tier 2.
Yep.
And PR going to hold on for dear life. Not sure they're going to have a whole lot of time left, though. As for ASC, ready to go high ground once again. Matumba Man happy to lead the way with the Aegis in tow. Level 2 defusal. With a Butterfly, Sanjayasha. Been a great farming game for him. King R in some trouble. I mean, just look at the illusions. Burn these heroes down. And we actually see, wow. Okay, Sunlight just jumps past the entirety of 4ASC. We're going to see Cheshire Cat force that back out of his own cog, just trying to buy time. Caldown's going to catch a couple boogie. Even he on that lowly little Rubik with a point booster and a Ogre Club, not really fearing any damage output from PR at this point. There's going to be the racks dropping, disruptions there onto the illusion. And it feels like they're just dying in a wave. Like they just wave, it's like wave defense and they're failing and it's not their fault. They played fairly well, but 4ASC is just, they brought their A game to this series and they've looked really good.
The Keeper of the Light is a ridiculously good high ground siege hero. Just with the Aghanim Scepter, he gives the vision, so you're safe from initiation. He's nuking down their wave. He's keeping his entire wave and his entire team healed up to full. And I feel like this game, 4AFC have really shown off, and in this series have really shown off why they value this Keeper of the Light so highly, picking it up in the first two. Valix has pretty much always found his farm. Yes, I feel like both of these games, they didn't lose the early game, so they didn't get pressured in the way that some other teams perhaps might pressure them, but it goes to show you what happens to a Keeper of the Light when he even gets a little bit of space. He's ahead of a couple of the cores over on the Power Rangers side, and you give him an inch and he takes them all, really.
I'm really impressed in general with the support play out of 4 Anchors. The Keeper, as you said, is great. There's going to be a call down they're not going to be bringing that much about. Matumba Man will be disrupted, avoid some of that damage. Oh, wow. J4 loses almost all of his health to one good Illuminate. And here comes the homing missile. Doink. Trixie shrugs it off. And here we go. Sunlight coming in, just trying to do anything he can to try and extend this game. But Aegis still has 2 minutes left on it, so Matumba Man should have no reason to worry. This is going to be your last set of racks, excuse me. But
we're both losing it.
Yeah, for no good reason, by the way. It's my first series of the day, so God help us about 8 hours from now. But yeah, I mean, I think we've about hit all the high points. Support play phenomenal. Boogie and Valix great. PR adapting when they had to, but would you leave this on draft or just flat out outplay? Oh, hang on. BKB is going to be used. They're going to grab Boogie. One of the few targets they can hope to bring down Matumba Man. Will use Doppelganger. And they can't even bring him down when he's that low. Manages to turn it around out of the Doppelganger, get the kill. Now Sunlight with very little mana may have, missed on the split earth. Otherwise they would have got him for sure. But now he's out of mana with the mana leak. Sunlight's going to be denying himself. Borrowed time. Buys the Abaddon a little time. There's the buyback from the Storm. That's the last buyback on their entire squad. So it's up to him. GG's going to be called. And 4 Anchors, again, not sure what happened in the other series that might be running concurrently. But to my knowledge, anyway, 4 Anchors manages to tally the first 2-0 of the day.
Yeah, I feel like, coming back to that question right before the final fight, it felt like it was both draft and execution. Even if the early game hadn't gone as well for 4ASC as it did, we talked about it during the draft. Just the way that they approached the draft, I think is a really solid way to approach drafts in this kind of a qualifier.
Right.
They've got the full 3-core lineup. They've got multiple different ways that they can